Good evening, Matt Wordsworth with ABC News. There have been dramatic scenes in Cairns over the past 24 hours, with flooding linked to ex-tropical cyclone Nora forcing swift water rescues and dozens of evacuations. Parts of the region received more than half a metre of rain overnight, causing the city's worst flooding in nearly 20 years.
Chaos at a Cairns caravan park. Motorhomes and cars tossed around by floodwaters, with holidaymakers caught off guard.
We could see cars and caravans floating around. We could hear people screaming.
More than 40 people were evacuated from 2 caravan parks just before midnight.
Our Winnebagos were floating and they were stuck up against trees, and families with a small child actually had to punch the back window of the Winnebago out to escape.
Through the dark, we had a swiftwater teams in there searching caravans, relocating people to high ground.
Witnesses say it's incredible no one was injured.
Well, I walked out with my glasses, a pair of shorts and a fully charged phone, and maybe everything else I've lost.
It's the city's worst flood in nearly 20 years.
The horse was swimming in the paddock, so I had to go get that one, and then our chickens as well in the front yard, and they were pretty much floating just down, getting carried by the water.
Half a metre of rain fell overnight in some parts, sending the lower Barron River to its highest level since 2000. Parts of the northern beaches were submerged too.
Oh, if I can poke me out through the window, it'd be great.
With 2 people rescued from their car and another plucked from a tree. More than 8,000 emergency alert text messages went out to residents at risk of flooding.
I knocked on doors of particular areas that the council wanted us to target.
The city's main highway's been cut by flooding, several schools are closed, and an evacuation centre's been opened for flood-affected residents. The rain's wreaked havoc further afield, with Tully isolated to the south and the Douglas Shire to the north running critically low on clean water. The Premier arrived in Cairns late today for an urgent briefing from the Weather Bureau.
We could expect some more severe weather over the Easter long weekend. That could mean very increased levels of rainfall in the north here, but also too from the Fraser Coast down to the border.
So drenched and sodden, residents have been urged to remain on high alert.
And live to Sharnie Kim in Cairns. Sharnie, what's the main concern for residents now?
Matt, one of the main issues is that the Captain Cook Highway, Cairns' main arterial highway, is still cut by floodwaters over a several kilometre stretch. That means that 3 entire suburbs on the northern beaches are completely isolated. People can't get to work, they can't get to school, they have no other means of getting out. The Department of Transport and Main Roads says there is still water on parts of the road, and they need to do inspections before they can reopen that road to traffic. So there's a big question still as to when that will happen. Another big issue for both the Cairns region and the Douglas Shire to the north of us is with water. The heavy rain has affected both water treatment plants due to debris blocking water intakes and the like. And so residents in both areas are being urged to limit their water use for essential purposes only. So that's holding off on hosing off mud and things like that. Fortunately, though, the flood threat, or the immediate flood threat, is easing. The Bureau had warned of possible renewed river rises in Cairns this afternoon, but that hasn't eventuated. And so with no significant heavy rainfall forecast for the next few days, it means that hopefully the region can dry out a bit, at least until the Easter long weekend. Matt?
Let's hope so. Sharnie Kim, thank you. And Jenny Woodward's here now. Jenny, what brought on so much rain?
Well, Matt, all the flooding was due to converging winds on the tropical coast generated by the cyclone, and there were some huge totals inland too. We saw 405 millimetres at Abingdon Downs, which is out near Georgetown. The extreme rainfall rates eased this afternoon. Warnings have been cancelled, but showers and storms will continue through the night. But the big wet isn't over yet. The remains of tropical cyclone Iris, which developed in the eastern Coral Sea, are moving closer to Queensland, and this lingering low will bring big season swells to the southern coast starting from tomorrow, and then it's got the potential to produce heavy rain and damaging winds as it tracks northwest parallel to the coast over the weekend. The Bureau are watching it closely, and I'll have all the forecasts for tomorrow soon.